many games, so little to play. Let's see. No. I mean, come on, there's gotta be something in here to play, right? No. Come on, I mean, there's gotta be a game in here. I mean, Persona 4, what? No. Xenoblade Saga, there's some Wii games. Wait. What do we got here? What? An Xbox? Why are we gonna have this thing? It didn't even get any RPGs. Whatever.
Quite the contrary, Super Derek.
Dang it, Jimmy, I told you to lock the TV on your way out. Alright, who are you? What are you doing in my TV?
Ah, hello, Dali Popka here. I heard you say that there isn't many RPGs on the Xbox. Well, I'm here to tell you that that isn't the case. In fact, there are quite a few RPGs on the big green that you might have missed out on.
Yeah, maybe like action RPGs if you've got like a really low standard. What about like all the, the turn-based Japanese stuff? Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Got any of that?
Yes, there are some traditional ones on the Xbox as well. In fact, what if I were to tell you that Final Fantasy X is on the Xbox?
What?
Yes! Well, sort of. And it's made by EA and not Square, and it's based on Lord of the Rings, and it's not really Final Fantasy X.
What exactly is your game here, Mr. Lollipopsicle?
Okay, you got me. There is no Final Fantasy X on Xbox. What there is, though, is today's topic. Lord of the Rings, the Third Age. Now, the question is it fun as well as collection-worthy? We'll find out today on The Game Collection.
Hey, that's my show!
Oh, yeah, oops, sorry. I mean, Viridian Flashback.
Wait a second, if you're telling me it's on all these other systems, why are we dusting off the Xbox again?
You're not going to make this easy on me, are you?
For the giver of this knowledge was evil's great servant, Sauron. In the fires of Mordor he forged in secret one ring to rule them all.
The story of the Third Age takes place during the events of the film trilogy in a parallel yet non-canon plot. You start off as Barithor, a Citadel guard captain from Gondor who was under orders from Denethor to travel to Rivendell to find Boromir. However, before he can get there, he is attacked by the Nazgul, but is saved just in time by Idril, an elf who serves Lady Galadriel.
What grace has been given to me, let it pass to him. Let him be spared. To you I bestow this gift of my people. It braces the soul and binds the hearts of others.
I live because of your bravery, my lady. What favor might I grant you?
Together, along with others they meet along the way, Barithor and company set out on their own fellowship to help stop the evil reign of Sauron.
Even though the story may slightly mirror the films, it's still gripping enough to keep you involved. Plus, the characters, although seem nothing more to be carbon copies of the main characters of the film, are interesting enough to pull it off.
So, how does it play?
What are you doing?
Nothing, just asking questions.
Yeah, I know, it's just I do that.
Oh, sorry, Poly Duct Tape. Go on.
Actually, it's fine. Not bad, really. Must be the voice.
Wait, hang on a minute.
Ah, hello, Eric. What brings you to Derek's TV?
God, what is this? Some sort of subspace highway or something?
Actually, yeah, we use it to travel between other reviewers' houses.
Yes, it's quite nifty. Anyway, what's up?
I was just here to poop in Derek's cat's litter box, but I couldn't help overhearing that you were talking about Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, and you did not bring up the Game Boy Advance version.
Oh, I thought it was just a scaled-down port or something, so I didn't really bother mentioning it here.
But it's actually a completely different version, and it's definitely worth talking about.
Whose show is this anyway?
Sorry.
Sorry.
The Third Age GBA game is very different from its console counterparts, adopting a more strategy RPG vibe, a la Final Fantasy Tactics or Shining Force, with a couple little tweaks. Mainly is that on any given turn, not all of your or your opponent's units will get a chance to move. Each commander and hero has a maximum and minimum number of hero points that will randomly generate at the beginning of each turn, which will then dictate the number of commands you can give to your units. At the beginning of each battle, you'll have one commander, like Aragorn or Gandalf, and you can choose additional heroes like Éomer, Gimli, or Legolas. They'll each have command over certain areas of the map, and they'll generate their own individual hero points per turn. Secondly is that you also have the option of playing as the Dark Lord's forces, fighting against the Fellowship as the Witch King or even Sauron himself. And you can have one active save file for each side. Nice touch. The events in the game parallel that of Lord of the Rings, with battles taking place at landmarks like Rivendell, Bree, and Moria, amongst others. Despite some anachronistic characters showing up throughout the game, Third Age GBA is really fun, and it makes great use of the license, which fits the turn-based strategy mold surprisingly well.
Wow, interesting. It's a different take on the game and could be fun to try. Thanks for talking about it.
No problem. Well, I better be off.
So, where was I? Oh yes, the gameplay.
The Third Age is a turn-based RPG, very similar to Final Fantasy. More in particular Final Fantasy X, but we'll get to that in a bit. Progression is done by completing main story quests and the usual side missions by traversing through the linear levels and combat, with few NPCs to converse with and no shops or inns. In fact, just like FF10, the way you move across the world is by just selecting the next area on the map, and that's it. Speaking of borrowed, combat has also been lifted from Finding Tidus. While walking through the stages, you'll notice a little orb in the corner of the screen, either the Eye of Sauron or Palantir symbol, growing darker as you walk. When it's fully visible,
Combat time!
when the battle begins, FF10 players are going to feel right at home, from the CTB system to only having 3 members out at a time with the option to swap characters on the fly. In certain situations, however, like the fight against the Balrog, you'll have a special guest character to help you, like Gandalf.
However, there are some mechanics that are different from Final Fantasy X.
Hey, great! Something original.
They borrow from some other Final Fantasy games as well.
For instance, during combat you have a bar symbolized with the One Ring, filling up with each successful hit. When it's full, you can activate Perfect Mode, which allows you to summon powerful attacks, like a volley of arrows for instance. Kind of a mix between summons and limit breaks. Like the materia in FF7, you can obtain Elf Stones, gems that you equip to your weapons and armor for stat bonuses and new abilities and skills. Speaking of skills, if you've ever played Final Fantasy II, no, the real Final Fantasy II. There, that's better. Then this might seem familiar to you. To level up your skills, you simply use them over and over till they're maxed out and unlock new skills to do the same. It can be a pain to just sit there and do the same thing over and over, but the payoff is worth it. Lastly, leveling up your characters is more akin to RPGs like Knights of the Old Republic or Elder Scrolls, where you allocate the points you earn into the attributes you want.
So is there anything that's original about this game, or is it all just an amalgamation of stolen parts?
Yeah, there's a few things. When you do certain things in the Third Age, win a battle, collect an item, or visit a certain spot, you unlock epic scenes. These essentially give you more story into the game, as Gandalf narrates what's going on while clips from the films are played. It's a neat way to integrate the game with the lore of the film's world.
You are close now, Gondorian, about to leave the realm of the dwarf for the world of the elf. But you are of the world of men and can never fully understand elven ways.
Then there's Evil Mode. This minigame allows you to replay certain battles you've already completed. Only this time you're the bad guys. If you manage to defeat the heroes and win, you're rewarded with special equipment to be used in the main game. It's a fun, neat distraction that's worth playing a few times. There is also co-op to this game, but it's only during battle, letting you and your friend control certain characters.
Oh, you mean like on the SNES?
Oh yeah, it's still not that fun.
So the gameplay is a giant love letter / clone to Final Fantasy, but it's actually no surprise that it is. Steve Gray, the executive producer for Third Age, worked on Final Fantasy VII and other games for Square, and had been wanting to do an LOTR RPG, say that 3 times fast, for a long time. However, one thing that may turn away veteran RPG players, especially ones who spend 80 to 90 hours on one,
Well, guess you got me there, Molly Dropkick.
is that the game tends to hold your hand a bit with no real exploration, no shops or inns, and just straightforward gameplay. But trust me, it's not all that bad. So let's just wrap things up and see how presentation is.
For long ages they protected Middle-earth, but their time here ends. They will retire to their final port, and from there sail out of your history.
For graphics, Third Age is pretty good. The level design is faithful to the films throughout the game, capturing the look of many key locations, from the sweeping plains to the dark mines of Moira and more. The character models look just as good, showing off expressions and emotions when they speak, fitting in with the main characters of the movies.
On a quick side note, you may notice that a lot of the enemies and whatnot are only from the films and not really from the books. This was due in part to EA only being able to get the rights to the films to make any games, while anything book-related went to Vivendi Universal. But I'll get to that game later.
In the audio department, the music consists of pieces from the films with some original work thrown in as well, so you know the score is going to be epic. For voiceover, the actors do a great job of portraying their characters, giving the feeling that you might have seen them in the films and didn't know it. Of course, I can't forget the voice work of Sir Ian McKellen as the Wizard Gandalf, reprising his role for both narration as well as in the actual game.
Guard their ancient ruins and patrol these hills, but their numbers dwindle. The only other force able to offer resistance is a small band of Dunedain Rangers. They are the survivors of a fallen kingdom, yet still silently defend these lands.
So that's Lord of the Rings, the Third Age.
So, would you say that this is collection worthy?
You like doing that, don't you?
What?
Anyway, yes it is. It's not only a great Lord of the Rings game, but a fun RPG, even if it's slightly easier than most in its genre and borrows heavily from Final Fantasy. If you're going the Amazon route, you'll probably want to go used, as new copies go for about $35. Of course, you might get lucky and find it at your local game store for even cheaper. Funny enough, there was a second RPG planned called the White Council that was going to be more open world with character customization, set to release on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. But sadly, the game kept getting delayed and eventually got cancelled as EA lost the license to Lord of the Rings, so it's truly dead.
Honestly, that sounds pretty interesting and kind of fun.
No problem, glad to hear it. I hope this changes your opinion on the Xbox some.
Nah. Now, get out of here, because you're cramping my style.
Yeah, Jimmy Hoppa told me you would do that, so I removed the batteries earlier.
How?
I'm the Dali Popka. Duh. Anyway, Now I can convince you how the... Hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop that! Ah!
See ya. The Dali crab cake, huh?
He turned off the TV on you, huh?
Damn, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Want to go get a sub?
The Dali crab cake, huh?